This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic. And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast, your one-stop shop for entertainment, movies, superhero, gaming, everything under the nerd sun we talk about here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. If you're new, thank you guys for checking us out. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. Got a jam-packed show, Johnny. We had a ton of stuff today. Yeah. And we had to whittle it down. We had Nightwing movie news, Joaquin Phoenix could be playing the Joker, Batman news where Ben Affleck, not really committed to being Batman in the future. He's waiting on that.
Yep.
We've had trailer drops galore. I believe Jessica Jones Season 2 either dropped this week or last week. We had Venom drop this week, Deadpool 2 drop this week, a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer drop this week. We had a Solo movie on Super Bowl Sunday drop, and that Monday after. We have a ton of stuff to talk about. A ton of stuff, but we had to whittle it down. This is going to be Trailer Sunday, by the way, or Trailer Week, I'll say, for the Rick and Johnny podcast, because we're talking trailers and nothing but trailers. Looking at the Venom movie, looking at the Han Solo movie, looking at the Deadpool movie. And then because of me, because I wanted it, and Johnny's a good guy, and it's like, okay, we could talk about it. We're going to look at the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that was released at D23 Japan just this past week. So a jam-packed trailer show. Little housekeeping before we start. First off, patreon.com. If you notice we're wearing jackets, a little cold here. Help us keep the heat on here. Check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Also, we have a link to our store now, our Square store, where you can buy an MVP t-shirt and make donations. Also, that is down below in the description. If you're on iTunes, you have an iTunes account, make sure to go give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. It would mean the world to us. And make sure to check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you'll find everything for MVP, and you can just bookmark it and have every video and everything right at your fingertips. But Johnny, we're going to get into this. It's Trailer Sunday, as I said. The first one we're looking at is the Venom trailer. Yeah. So I already have my headphones locked up. I can't hear out of mine. If you're an audio listener, you're still going to hear the trailer kind of and hear our reaction. You just won't be able to see it. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I always think my sound's not on because of how quiet this trailer starts.
Like, I was waiting, and then I heard the rumbling. I'm like, am I just hearing things, or is it coming in?
Everyone's got their thing. Maybe it's a breakup, a death, an accident.
I want to know what they're uncovering.
Whatever it is, you used to be one thing. Now, you're something else. We all have our own problems.
I like the tone for it already.
No,
it's got this kind of like darker tone to it.
Our own.
That's cool too.
Demons.
This is my favorite part of the whole trailer. When he just goes, we all have our own, and then just pauses. Demons. We got our own demons, Johnny. So,
do I?
We've got the trailer. We just watched it. I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
What are your first thoughts of this event? Because this is really...
I'm excited for it.
Well, out of all the trailers we're seeing today, the first two we're going to talk about, Venom and Solo, we're actually getting our first look at the movie. Solo, this is the first trailer we've got. Venom, this is the first trailer we got. Deadpool, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Now we get some new elements to it. first time we have seen now this Venom movie, like as a movie of what it might look like. What are you thinking after this trailer?
Like I said, I'm excited actually. It's going to be an interesting take on it because we're not necessarily supposed to get Spider-Man, at least as of now. Not
From what I've
necessarily.
heard, we're supposed to get Tom Holland has been seen on set.
So we might get Peter Parker.
Yes, and that's what I'm thinking.
But-
What I'm thinking is we're going to get Spider-Man enough, not Spider-Man, but Peter Parker enough to where it's going to be a couple New York scenes with Peter just to tie it together, just to tie Peter to the universe. And that's it.
Which you kind of have to just so that we have like that tie-in. Because I think people would get a little upset if like there was absolutely no tie-in. And I'm not saying like upset enough to like make the movie worse. No, just like to be upset like, well, I would have liked if it tied in, would have made it better, and that's what they're going with, which would be great. I like the scene where he's freaking out in the MRI machine.
Do you think, question about that, do you think that's when the Venom symbiote starts to like try to take over while like they turn on the MRI machine? It makes the symbiote that's already infected him just go crazy, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't do anything." It's like trying to control my body.
I think it's less it's trying to control his body, and more so it's because remember, aren't we? As of what you and I last read about this, it's supposed to be sort of after the whole Peter Parker thing, him trying to kind of restart himself, in a sense.
It's supposed to be the two timelines they're doing is Lethal Protector, which is where you get the I don't even think it's Eddie Brock. I think it's Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
I believe it's Flash Thompson who he's like a soldier who has like lost his legs, and they use the Venom symbiote to give him that back, and then he becomes Agent Venom.
Okay.
That storyline takes place in San Francisco. They're also doing Planet of the Symbiotes, which is where symbiotes crash down on Earth. There's about 5 of them, like Agony, Carnage, Venom. There's a couple different of them. And that's the other thing they're doing. Like that crash site where he goes, we all come from somewhere. I'm assuming that's the Planet of the Symbiotes, where that's where they crash down. We got to know what this is, because the thing that you look at in the trailer is when the big baddie kind of opens the back doors to the van, you see only 2 vials. Like the shot only shows you 2 vials. So it's like, is Venom and Carnage, is that the only ones? Are there more vials that we're just not seeing yet in this trailer? Like, will it pan back and it's just a ton more vials of like how many symbiotes they have and can kind of make more symbiotes off of that? Because that's kind of what they're going with the story.
Yeah, the only thing I was bringing up with that scene is instead of it being trying to take over, I was saying, remember what happens when like sound vibration hits it, and there's one
kind of
other
like
one.
the bell tower.
The bell tower. There's one other thing like that too that it kind of affects it. Well, maybe like the magnetism of the MRI. Maybe they're saying like that's like making it freak out,
or either the magnetism, or you could go with sound, because if you've ever been around an MRI machine, it's not the quietest machine in the world.
No, it's not. You're right. I've been in quite a few of them.
So it's like maybe that could be it. The sound of the MRI machine is making the Venom symbiote go
freak
crazy.
out. Yeah, it's making it just freak out.
And that's why he's kind of shaking and stuff. When it comes to Peter Parker, though, the tricky thing they're going to have with that is they don't have to have Peter Parker in this movie, technically. The only reason why they have to, and as you said, they don't have to. Like, if Peter Parker wasn't in the MCU, they wouldn't have to have Peter Parker in this movie. They could just do it a solo Eddie Brock. This is kind of the origin story for Eddie Brock and Venom. But because Peter Parker is in the MCU, that ties him to the events of Infinity War. That's why I think they're going Lethal Protector and doing it out in San Francisco. Because it's like, we're just going to avoid the whole Infinity War thing and the Planet of the Symbiote thing of like, this thing crashed in and that's how the symbiotes got there. That could be like an after effect somewhere other than New York because of the Infinity War stuff that's happening in New York.
Which will be
Thanos is doing this, this is an after effect in a different location.
Which will be kind of nice and refreshing in some sense because it'll be somewhere different. It'll be, well, I mean, like,
it's not New York.
Let's put it this way. Majority of the stuff happens in New York. Yes, we've had Greenwich, I think it was called Greenwich, England. We've had some other places. Majority of it.
We're going to be going to Wakanda this week.
Yeah, we'll be in Wakanda this week. And who knows where else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, majority is New York. Yeah, I think the Iron Man ones were in like Los Angeles or some area near there, but like not all of them. I'm just saying though, majority of it, New York. It'd be nice to have something refreshing and something a little different.
Here's what I want to ask you about this trailer, and I already know where I stand on this. I want to know where you stand.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people online unhappy with the trailer, only in the sense of we didn't get to see what the symbiote looks like, or we didn't get to see the symbiote at all. Thoughts on that?
Well, that's not true that we didn't get to see the symbiote at all because if you
saw it in the vial.
Yeah, that big ass case. It's like flowing around in there, and the black.
But
one
we didn't get to see it on Eddie Brock at all.
I'm okay with that. The most I would want to see is possibly like a headshot. I don't want to see the mouth. Let's put it this way. I don't want to see the Venom mouth until the movie. I'd be fine with the majority of maybe showing a hand with it on there, or even like just the top part of the face.
I'll be completely honest. I'm not going to say I wouldn't be upset, because there's the flip side of like, don't show me at all. And then I see it in the movie and I don't like it. But I'm kind of on the side, don't show me at all. Don't show me what the symbiote's going to look on Eddie Brock until I get to the movie, because that whole thing kind of sparked me in a different way of like, do movie trailers reveal too much nowadays?
Sometimes
it's like
they do.
We're going to the movie and it's like, oh, I remember that from the trailer. I remember this. I remember that. I remember back in the day where it was like comedy would come out. All these moments are in the trailer. You'd go to the movie and the thing you saw in the trailer actually hit the cutting room floor. They just wanted to use it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, it's like you see a trailer and it's like, we want to see everything. And it's like, no, don't show me everything. I want to be surprised when I actually go to the movie.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question, though, to go into the story. What do you think they're going to do with symbiotes? Do you think that it's going to be just two and be Venom and Carnage, or will we see a ton of other symbiotes? Because this trailer didn't really give us an answer to that question.
Start two, and if you're going to do any more of them, have them near the end of the movie. If that's what I would do myself. And that's what I'm hoping they do, because I want to just focus on the two, Carnage and Venom. And then later on, you can, if you wanted to, you could have them all in like a room, but not really make mention to them. Like, if let's say, like you said in the scene, they have you see two of the vials, you can definitely see the Venom one, the black one flowing back and forth. Maybe they should pan out and show all of them that they're gonna introduce. That's fine, but just don't really make mention of them.
I'm reading here.
At least not till the end or something.
Here's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
And I should have read this before I answered that question. So this is from Screen Rants. It says, that hashtag show is reporting that Carnage won't actually be a part of the main story for the film, which will deal with the Life Foundation. That's the one that's trying to experiment with the symbiotes and multiple symbiotes. Instead, Venom will feature Eddie Brock in the San Quentin State Prison near the end of the film, possibly in post-credit scene where he will be introduced to Cassidy, and that's where they'll take off Venom in a separate one. And they're thinking that Woody Harrelson's character will be the Cassidy character that gets
that'd be cool.
The Carnage symbiote, which is kind of cool because he's usually a crazy character.
Yeah, he is.
A nutty character in movies that he's been in. That's the thing with this one, where I don't want them to give me too much at one time.
No, I agree.
That's the one thing I fear, where it's like the symbiote, like you said, if you give me a hand, like the most I want to see in a trailer from the symbiote is maybe it crawling on him, or just from like the legs up. Like you just see like one leg, and it's like you start to see it form around that leg. And that's it. That's all you give me.
Yeah, I don't want to see... The one thing I definitely, like I said, I don't want to see yet until the movie is the mouth. That's the one thing I'm like most worried about, because it's kind of hard to mess up a black, almost morph suit.
But the way that Venom's mouth can open with all the teeth and then the long tongue.
Yeah, I want that saved until the movie.
Here's one thing I wanted to bring up too, and this is something that I thought about is so throughout this trailer they did it very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was interesting how they kind of mapped out this trailer because the whole thing is Eddie Brock narrating everything to us.
Yeah.
Kind of like he's talking in his own mind. Here's the thing I'm thinking about. What are they going to do with the symbiote's voice? Because the Venom symbiote has this own voice. It's in your head. So it's like it's trying to influence you to let it take over.
Yeah.
My thought is, are they going to have a different actor come in and be that voice so it's actually like two voices? Or are they going to let Tom Hardy be that second voice and just do a different take? So he has his normal voice, and then he has the Venom voice. However, that Venom voice sounds like Eddie Brock's voice because it's infusing with Eddie Brock.
Well, my guess is
Which would you rather them do?
actually I'm gonna go with choice C.
Okay.
And it could be either of the two, but you kind of use sound equipment and stuff like that. To kind of do it like they did for the Hulk, for example.
Well, they would
and alter the voice.
They would distort Hardy's voice, but you could tell, like at the core, the Venom voice is just Hardy. Like it's Eddie Brock's voice, just changed into what they want the Venom voice to sound like.
Yeah. Well, my thing would be more of the. I'm trying to think how to describe it. You hear that like double tone or triple tone devilish voice. I can try to attempt if you want to hear what I'm talking about.
Sure.
I'm trying to think
If you can do it, like you're the master of voices on this show.
on the show. Yes.
Yeah, you do voices at the beginning of our podcast. If you want to try it, go ahead.
Eddie Brock.
Okay.
Some shit like that, but like triple toning that.
Very animated series-esque.
Yes,
what you're
that's
going
it. That's
with.
what I'm thinking of. Where it's like triple toning the voice. It's do it in like the base one is Tom Hardy's, and then because it's
But
in his
then
own
you
head.
add layers
Add
to it.
layers of the voice. So that way you get like a triple tone, something whispering in his head. But it's not human, so you don't want it to sound exactly human.
Well, and like I was thinking, the biggest worry that I have with that is, and I shouldn't have this worry because Tom Hardy, maybe it wasn't his fault for this, but I just, whenever I hear, oh, Tom Hardy's going to do a voice.
I know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, no, that's,
This is exactly what you want.
I don't want it to be like Bane.
Eddie, let me take over your mind. Remember what Spider-Man put us through. We are the better hero, Eddie.
Oh man, and that's
You're
the
telling
thing,
me
like,
you don't want that.
I shouldn't and I shouldn't worry about it.
No, I don't
but
think we're good.
But there's a part of me that does. There's a part of me that does because I want this to be. I want this to be what it should be, and it should be an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Because like this is the culmination of everything. I've mentioned this before when we've talked Venom before. This movie is the culmination of everything that I've talked about with Dave throughout our childhood and now. Where, we saw the Venom symbiote in the Raimi Spider-Man films. But the thing I would always tell him is, and I know Carnage might not be in this, but it's leading up to it, could you imagine them doing a movie with Carnage and actually thinking about it, but being like, oh, that's never going to happen. Now we're sitting here, almost 20 years since then? And it's like, oh my God, that's a possibility now.
Yeah.
That is a real possibility.
Because if nothing else, we're going to get the introduction of Carnage is what it's sounding like from the descriptions. The only thing that's going to make me worry, and no matter what, they're going to get my money. I'm going to go see it. But the one thing that makes me worry is if they were to go and show the suit, going back to that, it's kind of going to make or break my confidence in the movie, depending. So, like, that's why I agree. Don't show me much or any of the suit, because I want to go into the movie and then either be excited or disappointed. I don't want to have the trailer sit there
and put a bad mojo on what you're thinking coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't want to see like the suit and be like completely disappointed in what I see and say, well, I'm going to go see the movie. At least maybe the movie will be good.
You know, from what I'm seeing right now, and of course this is our first look at it.
Yeah.
I like what I'm
Same.
seeing. You didn't give me, here's the bullet points from Ricky. You didn't give me too much. Like I said, I like the tone of it. Like Venom's supposed to be a darker character.
Agreed.
You're giving me that dark overtone right now. And you're kind of going with where you're setting up the plot points a little bit, but you're not telling me the whole story. You're making me infer, you're making us discuss right now what that could be and where they could go.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your quick bullet points?
Quick bullet points. Most of them the same as yours. I'm just excited. I like I said, I like the tone. I like where they go. So far, I like what I see that they're doing with Eddie Brock and the symbiote. Like the like I said, the MRI machine, that was a great thing. Like as soon as it's on, he starts wigging out. I'm very interested to see like what's up with the crash site, what's up with the corporation that has the symbiote, and are we going to see Eddie Brock already has this? Now I'm wondering, are we going to see Eddie Brock already has the symbiote, or are they introducing it to Eddie Brock?
Yeah. Well,
that's the question.
What I think it's going to be is, because I'm trying to think Lethal Protector style. Yeah. Maybe something happens with Eddie Brock where he needs like, what am I thinking? Like because the MRI machine could be. I wouldn't be surprised if theory hat on, tinfoil hat on. Eddie Brock gets cancer. Boom. Just saying it.
Yeah.
His character gets cancer at the beginning of the film, a la Deadpool style. However, the difference is he goes to the doctor. The doctors might go to the Life Foundation is probably looking for actual, like, they're testing the symbiotes, right?
Yeah.
They're at the point where it's like, we need a human specimen. We need a human specimen that we can fuse these together to know if we can do this for sure. What they probably do is, hey, Eddie, you have cancer. This Life Foundation has, because they probably have a good reputation. That's what I'm looking for. Good reputation to the outside world. They don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Oh, like Oscorp.
There's this experimentation. There's this advanced medicine that they're working on to help you that could combat your cancer and get rid of it. Eddie Brock agrees to do it. They fuse him with the Venom symbiote. Boom, that's how he gets the symbiote. I'm
going to alter yours a bit.
Okay.
So instead of cancer, and this could tie in the crash of where the symbiotes come from in the first place. He's driving down the highway. It looks like it's like it looks almost like it's like along the highway where there's all that forest area.
Yeah.
It crashed. It crashes, kind of clips his car, makes it flip over. Horrible car accident. That's why he's not awake in the MRI machine. Then he wakes up, his body starts freaking out. Well, he's kind of like coma. And like, well, then they're like, in side story, they have the symbiotes like, we need someone. Hey, this guy has no one attached to his name, Eddie Brock.
True.
We're going to test him because he's the guy from the crash site.
That, you know why that makes sense also?
Yeah.
Has no one attached to his name. Why? Because he was probably from New York originally. Now he's on the run in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Probably just dropped everything
and left.
Went to San Fran.
Yep.
That could make sense.
Yeah. And so, hey, we're just going to inject it into him. He's not going to know if he doesn't. If he dies, he's not even alive to know right now. Or not alive. He's in a coma. He won't even know.
You're making very good points, Johnny. You're making good points. But this is where
Sony's going to shut this down.
Yeah,
because
no, they will. They're going to
be
be like, shit, we got to rewrite everything. Johnny Karlic figured it out. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. What you think of the trailer? What do you think about the Venom movie? The first look
thing I got.
we get in the Venom movie trailer. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.